Disclaimer: I am not bringing up anything past Fallen Kingdom. I will not be bringing up any future movies such as Rebirth and Dominion, Camp Cretaceous and its sequel series Chaos Fury, and any future games like Jurassic World Evolution 2 or the new upcoming, as of the time of this video being made, Jurassic World Evolution 3. I will not be bringing up any of these materials to be completely fair and honest in this response. Even if this video has aged like complete fucking dog shit, it at least deserves a fair chance to see if it still holds up without using information that clearly makes this outdated.
Mauler, Mauler, Mauler. Honestly, when I was making this, I just wanted to make this video because I really wanted to get my thoughts about Mauler. Since, to be honest, I did like the guy. I used to think that his video on Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom was a legitimately good video. I used to see Mauler as a role model for media criticism, and literally was one of my inspirations. And 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 how you should be reviewing a film. But that's now changed for the better, and now I see Mauler as a terrible reviewer, and most of his videos, if not all of them, are really, really bad. And ironically, he's became an inspiration for me who not to be for a reviewer. Because the main issue with Mauler's videos is that his videos miss the point of the source material, which brings me to his Fallen Kingdom review, arguably one of his worst reviews on his whole channel, and one of the most insulting reviews I've ever seen on this film. The video is not hated by much of the Jurassic World community. Most people see it as a good video and believe it's straight up right about the film, and there are other people, some people that hate this video, rightfully so, but this is the minority. It's how do I put this? There aren't much people calling it out as the best way to put it out, best way to word it. And due to that, it's led to misinformation being spread around Fallen Kingdom, and was one of the main factors, along with Wolf's Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom video as well. And while it was deleted due to Wolf's mental health issues at the time, it still does play a role into how terrible this video is. And these arguments have been spread throughout the Jurassic World community, making discourse around Jurassic World way harder and more annoying. And it's still brought up to this day as a valid video, which is why I made this video, to stop the misinformation coming from this video, and to explain why Mauler is a bad critic and you should never take him seriously. But before why Mauler's video sucks or why him as a person is bad, let's talk about why I fell out on Mauler. It was the summer of 2018. Fallen Kingdom was a new movie that was heavily hyped up for its release in theaters. I was interested due to my first Jurassic Park movie being Jurassic World back in 2015. But during the first 2 weeks of the film releasing of this video came out by Mauler, and it made me see that the film was bad, and I decided to not go and watch Fallen Kingdom, thinking that what Mauler said was 100% right without thinking for myself. And after that, I kept watching Mauler's video despite me never seeing or playing them, like his Dark Souls video, where I watched it, and which is a terrible video, by the way. But besides the point, but back in 2020, I found a Reddit post of a screenshot showing Mauler's friends being racist, and after my shock, I dropped Mauler and stopped watching him. Then, after some time, I found Shinobi Ofri's old videos on Jurassic World, which inspired me to make this video, which is what I wanted to make for ages. And it took a lot longer, but while everything, but now we're here. So let's rip this fucking stupid video apart.
Dear that one guy who works for Universal and has flagged each of my Jurassic videos down manually. Every single clip in this video is sourced from your own company's promotional material. Please take the time to watch through this video and realize that the content created by your company has been completely transformed to not only be absolutely distinguishable from its origin, but to also act as criticism for the god-awful movie they decided to release. I've paid for the damn ticket to see this fucking garbage, and your attempts to make money from me or silence me have been bloody annoying. Please reconsider hitting this video with a claim or strike, because this time around I will fight you till the end. You have absolutely no right to silence those who rightfully criticize your shitty movie. Get over it or hire better writers, but overall, fuck off.
This excuse does not work for a couple of reasons. While it is annoying when a company copyrights a work of yours on YouTube, you're going to have to find smarter ways to get around copyright. Like, for example, Schaefer Productions condenses the videos to get past the copyright. And while sometimes it doesn't always work all the time, then you're going to have to find something else to get around copyright. The trailer is still content from the movie, and implying as if it's like this copyright-free thing that you could just use whenever you want is just not true in the slightest. And like implying it's public domain is just dumb because you're still using the movie in your video, and by this logic, you could argue, oh, I could repost Mauler's video because his video is on YouTube. I could do whatever I want with this video. Because, like, no, that's stealing, regardless of how important this is. And, like, just, like, find another way to get around it. And to talk about a personal issue with this video, Mauler, this video has already been 2 weeks out in your area. You're making a 55-minute long video on a film that just came out. And the issue is that when you watch the film in theaters, you can't rewatch or replay the film if you missed anything. And to that, if you make a 50-minute video on a film that just came out with a bad memory, you're not going to remember the whole thing, and your arguments are going to be founded on breaking ice that you're not entirely sure, and that's one of the main issues with your video, because you can't, like, remember it, and then, because simply you don't have a good, and so if you simply don't remember the film at all, he doesn't remember anything about the film whatsoever, and Mauler has gone on record saying that he spends months on his videos. So not only is it a dumb idea for media arguments, but it's a complete lie to your fan base when you have promised them that you have made way longer videos and way longer production, when this video literally would have took 2 weeks to make, and which means at the least the bare minimum would have taken 2 months if he was actually being honest with his fans. So he's basically a liar, and it's really stupid.
What was that?
T-Rex.
Well, the first one was kind of a train wreck, so let's see how this one goes. But Mauler, this is about dinosaurs. It doesn't need to make sense. The first damn film made sense, the rest of them forgot what sense is, and that's what bothers me.
Alan! Alan!
Good.
Except in Jurassic Park, the park didn't make much sense either. Like, not at all. There was clearly a load of issues. Like, in the first film, people could jump off the ride of the enclosure within the Jeeps. Like, whenever they want. And they even point this out.
That's chaos theory.
Stop the program. Stop the program.
I told you how many times we needed locking mechanisms on the vehicle doors.
And people could get stuck in between the enclosures. Or if they fall off, they could hit their heads on something or giving her or him a brain injury. Or worse, they could be getting attacked by a dinosaur like a Triceratops. Or what about having the park having the power far away from the building of operations? What happens if the power shuts down? Then the dinosaurs, they'll be dangerous because they could get attacked by a dinosaur. Or wouldn't it be more easy to make the plant close to the building in case the power goes out? Then if the person there needs to fix the power, they might not get killed by a dinosaur, which is what happens in the movie. Or what about Hammond putting the Triceratops enclosure where there are plants that are giving them food poisoning? What about the fences being really weak and not reliable when the power is off, which leads to the T-Rex breaking out? What about the raptor pen having an unsafe way of getting the animals in it, which leads to people dying? Why would Hammonds give all the power to Nedtree, who someone who clearly wasn't happy with his job, which could lead to an attack from him, which happened in the film? And before you say, oh, the park being bad is a part of the film's themes, it is allowed, which I agree with. But the issue is if Mauler were to jump to this defense, he would be a hypocrite.
A horrifying disaster. We had Rey go from being this new powerful Force user who's going to meet a legendary Jedi Knight. We now have this powerful Force user who turns out was only hindered by both Kylo and Luke, and now understands that she's going to dominate in the next film when she rescues the galaxy. We had Finn, a defecting stormtrooper with no cause worth fighting until he met Rey and was crippled trying to defend her. We now have Finn, who wastes 2 hours of screen time hanging out with a new friend we've never met, only to receive an extremely weird kiss from her at the end while seeing Rey for about 30 seconds in total. We had Poe, a hotshot pilot who blew us away on screen with his charisma, intelligence, and talent. We now have Poe, an overly aggressive, narrow-minded fool who learns not to be out of order. We had Kylo, a confused, lonely, angry, Darth Vader-obsessed psychopath who wants power and a reason to become who he feels he should be. We now have Kylo, a sometimes gentle, caring soul who wants to rid the world of the false dichotomy and move on to a new and interesting world with no overarching figure to tell him or the people he respects what to do. Oh no, sorry, we just have the same old Kylo we always had. What am I talking about? We had Snoke, a mysterious dark power in the universe who took care of himself and waited for the best times to strike. We now have Snoke, a gold slippers and gown wearing self-obsessed cartoon villain who dies because he was a fool. We had Luke, a man who saved his family and his friends from tyranny, a hero at the very core, a beloved icon who pushed the galaxy towards freedom and happiness. We now have Luke, a sad old toad who wanted the death of his family in order to feel satisfied that he was in charge only to run away when he failed and hoped to die, with a minor redemption at the end showing that there was just a sparkle of his actual character left. Ryan, what have you done? No character that was given any kind of focus escaped this insane need to run them into the ground. When you try and give your characters a low point in the trilogy, that doesn't mean you start to write them in ways that betrays their foundations. Character is literally the foundation of Star Wars. Without that, the films are hollow space adventures. The crazy powers, the environments, the tools, the tech, none of it matters compared. It's all dressing. Character was the most important, and you've literally sapped the core out of them all, almost surgically. The film is such a major collection of horrible writing in so many different ways that people have to rise to an insane level to defend it. We can't talk about the actual events that take place or what the characters do. It has to be recontextualized into a theme so that the film raises itself to a masterpiece in art form. Nearly every argument for the quality of this film ignores the mechanics of the writing and simply spills the word theme all over the internet. So before jumping into patterns or conclusions, how about we look at themes and the social commentary? The social social aspects to this film have royally annoyed many people in the world, and this film has earned a title of being very left-leaning. I do not like to get political on my channel ever, but this film has very much pushed an agenda, so let's tackle these ideas individually and neutrally. There is a strong theme against capitalism. Nobody will deny that. In Canto Bight, we're dealing with rich people laughing while poor people suffer, and the reason is trade on very immoral markets. This is very blunt and poorly handled, as it doesn't even remotely make sense within the universe, and it's covered extremely briefly. Anti-capitalism is a rising perspective as time goes on, so it does feel as though it is pandering rather than exploring a meaningful idea about the system itself and the problems that comes with it. Though I would personally say that this is extremely inappropriate as content to try and brush over during a Star Wars film. And let's just ignore the fact that Disney are using a property they bought for millions and have sold again and again for billions to teach us about how bad capitalism is. How ridiculous. Next would be that animal cruelty is bad, and this may be an attempt to make capitalists look even worse, but I would provide the movie with the benefit of the doubt and assume they are simply saying it is bad in general. This is pretty much cartoonish, as I have already stated. It is mostly rushed and doesn't take a lick of reality into account of what will happen to these animals if they are saved. There isn't anything clever being done here. It is very simple. The animal is cute, and now it is free. Then we have slavery is bad, which law agrees with in most first world countries. It's not made to be something that's right in your face, but I think it's more of a subset of the criticisms of capitalism, which again isn't very clever in terms of a route to go to. Just showing us children suffering and then blaming these evil rich men seems very agenda driven, and I find myself asking what the point of all of this is.
Oh, it's got heart. Yes, it's got laser battles. It's got a timely message of interstellar poverty.
I know there are evil men and women in real life. You know, there are evil people in real life. I came to the science fantasy movie to watch fictional characters deal with fictional problems set up in a world of rules, instead of being handed this very quick understanding of bad things in the world that has no relevance once they leave Canto Bight. So the social aspects to it genuinely seem forced, and they also pander to a more left-leaning audience. I am sure that people on the left would agree with this even if they consider the message correct, which is not actually something I am discussing here. I am simply pointing out that the film is clearly left-leaning, which is frustrating for everybody who enjoys Star Wars and does not lean left. Well then, onto the themes. The most common discussions I could find on this were the themes of failure, communication, greed, development, redemption, and morality. Failure is indeed throughout the movie, as well as the word being spread around. Each character has at least some form of failure. Finn fails to stop the tracker. Poe fails to understand the plan. Rey fails to see the truth about Kylo. Luke fails to train Kylo correctly. Kylo fails to see the truth about Rey. Snoke fails to see Kylo's true intentions. Hux fails as a commanding officer. Holdo fails to reassure her crew, etc. So many failings all around, and that's right. Right? Well, neither I nor the person who comes up with these lists are finished. They will tell you that this elevates the film by spotting this pattern. You have now revealed the genius of the writing. It made you consider failure and how it teaches us to progress. As Yoda says, the best teacher failure is. What do I say to this? Well, most if not all plot lines and character developments we just went over for the last 4 hours don't make sense. They weren't supported by the previous films, nor were they well executed. They simply happened. The best example being Poe's. He didn't fail throughout the movie when you actually consider his actions. Finn only failed because the writer decided that a BB unit saw his team.
Nazi!
Things like this forced me to come to the conclusion that yes, Rian Johnson wanted this theme, and he shoehorned events to make it happen, but this makes the writing even worse. He put a theme over the characters, over the plot, to force the characters around the theme, to make you think about it on your own personal level, to ignore how inconsistent the writing is, to appear more intellectual. The theme I just went over is also reinterpreted to redemption, loss, or learning, depending on who you speak to, but that should cover it. The next theme people rave about is communication, and then he...
Mauler does not give a shit about themes. So if he did make this defense, it would be very hypocritical. If Mauler defends these points by saying they're not bad, then he's an idiot. He's essentially caught in a two-way arm lock where he doesn't really have where he has to pick the correct option or retrace it. But I really doubt Mauler, the epic, amazing, super good narcissist, would even care to step back on his opinion.
God, so we open up at Isla Nublar, and a team of idiots are trying to collect a sample of the now dead Indominus Rex that was dragged into the den of the Mosasaurus. You remember that, right, guys? Yeah? Okay, good. They open up a door that connects the Mosasaurus den to the ocean, somehow? Wasn't the whole point of that enclosure not to be connected to the ocean? Have you retconned it so that something can now escape, movie? That's a not-so-clever girl.
Mauler does not give a shit about themes. So if he did make this defense, it would be very hypocritical. If Mauler defends these points by saying they're not bad, then he's an idiot. He's essentially caught in a two-way arm lock where he doesn't really have where he has to pick the correct option or retrace it. But I really doubt Mauler, the epic, amazing, super good narcissist, would even care to step back on his opinion.
Oh, the lake. They didn't retcon its location. It is still the center of the island. But wait, you say, what about this map from the first Jurassic World movie that doesn't show any water canal that reaches the center of the island? Or this one that shows the lake is now next to the ocean? These maps are not fully accurate, especially this one. It's completely wrong, as clarified by Colin Trevorrow, and he apologized for this oversight. Now, some of you may ask, couldn't they have fixed it for the home releases? I don't know. Why don't we ask George Lucas how the fans reacted to all the fixes he made for Star Wars? I went to check every shot that showed the lake in the movie, but just like the ship in The Lost World, we didn't get a complete look of the area. Perhaps there was a water canal reaching the lake, but we didn't get to see it. If you go back and look up old maps of Isla Nublar, both official and fan-made from before Jurassic World, you can see a water canal did exist, and it reaches from the ocean all the way to the center of the island. The lake in Jurassic World is a man-made aquarium. It's not natural, and it houses a saltwater creature. That means it needs a water source that comes from the ocean. Speaking of aquariums, that tank is not always clean, and these fences and glass panels that allows the visitors to watch the mosasaurs in live shows and other monitoring equipment might need some maintenance. How would they do that with the mosasaurs in place? Send scuba divers? She'll just eat them all. Send drones? She would eat them all as well. That's not cost effective. Drain the whole lake so the mosasaurus is left stranded and exposed under the sunlight? That would do more harm than good. No, what they do is move her to a secondary tank just like in real aquariums. And while she is isolated there, they are free to flush out the lake and work whatever they need to do, and then open the canal once again to fill it with the seawater and let the mosasaurs back again, just like in real aquariums. But since the mosasaurus is too large to lift via a crane or a stretcher, that means they need to find some way to move her, so what do? Make a gate connecting between the two tanks. Now, what about the end of the canal that reaches the ocean? Did they leave it exposed? Well, considering the sub needed to reach the lake from the ocean, then I believe they opened a hole big enough to fit in the sub, and the mosasaurus used that hole to smash through whatever it was keeping that exit closed. Reminder, the crew thought the mosasaurus was dead, so they didn't take her escape to the ocean in consideration when they did the operation.
And for my own gripe, Mauler, you are using extended material to prove a point. When that map is found on websites, Mauler, you always complained about the use of extended material, and now you're using it to prove your point?
like the previous one and many others, is an absolute mess. None of this is making sense. It's not following a through line, and more questions keep popping up. One of the most common arguments in favor of this setup is that it's filled in with third-party media, like books, comics, or even a TV show. These things will answer the questions you have in totality. Even if that's true, it's not good for a film to rely on other media to be considered whole. Be an incomplete work is nothing to be celebratory about. To be in a position where you require your viewers to go outside of X to be able to consume X. That's awful.
What happened to that point?
And I can now use extended material to prove my point in this whole video, since, like, you essentially set yourself to that standard, Mauler. I'm not going to, because I want to prove that the film's good without the source material, but I think it's really unfair to bring up source material when you've always had an issue with it yourself.
In the little bathysphere exploring the den, we have one of the two men explicitly state that everything here is long dead. We know that these guys work for the bad guy in the film, and the plan for the bad guy is to retrieve 11 different species or something on the island, so they do indeed know that things actually live here, making the line utterly retarded.
They thought the Mosasaurus was dead, not the whole island. They said anything in here would be dead already, which is clearly what they're referring to. The Mosasaurus panicked.
Relax. Anything in here be dead by now.
Like, Mauler, are you stupid? And great job for using the slur, by the way. Thank you.
And well, the Mosasaurus is still in there, and it eats them. No, I'm not kidding, it just eats them. But before that happened, they were able to quickly find the corpse of the Indominus Rex, and a bone was successfully sawn off for retrieval. Imagine if they had taken it up with them on the pod, that bone would have been lost. Lucky. Meanwhile, the guy operating the door that connects the den to the ocean gets attacked by a T-Rex that popped up just in time, and as a result, his iPad was only half loading, the door closing, and being crushed prevents it from closing the door now? Why wouldn't it be binary? You hit close and the door closes. Why do you need a constant connection to the iPad? A system like that sounds incredibly unsafe and downright ineffective, proven by the fact that the Mosasaurus actually escapes, so,
The crew was hacking into the gate, which is why they needed the connection. And hacking is way more complex than something like Watch Dogs, where you hit a button and a car goes off a bridge or something. Like, this isn't freaking films. That's not how hacking works.
yeah. Oh, and the guy with the iPad died as well, because for some reason his headset didn't allow him to talk to people on the helicopter, you know, his team. They had to try and shout to him that there was a T-Rex standing behind him, and so he was too late, and he got finished off by the Mosasaurus. What is even happening?
He was trying to find Marine 1, which was the submarine that was sinked by the Mosasaurus. So he was on a different channel trying to find out what happened to Marine 1. And he likely didn't use the other channel due to the fact that Marine 1 had to take priority to make sure that they were safe. Because they did not want to lock them in, and it was his job to make sure that they were safe. And due to the fact that they didn't think anything was in the Mosasaurus tank, they didn't think they died from a dinosaur attack. So that's why he was worried.
How far after the first film are we? Who are these people? What the hell are they doing? This is a nonsensical attempt at retrieving a sample. Why do it at night? Why do you have so few people? Why do you have no precautions? Why do you believe everything is dead? They have the tech to open up the gate, so they should know a hell of a lot more about this island than they clearly...
Because most of the dinosaurs would be asleep, and it would be more easy to go at night, so they won't get any attacks from dinosaurs. And it was a quick get the bone to the helicopter, mission over, and they just had to do it real quickly, and there wouldn't really be much attacks from dinosaurs. So and it would just be better. It doesn't matter how much people were involved. It was a quick get the sample from the lake, get out, done and over. And more people might lead to the mission being too complex for just the bone and get out, making communication more difficult and more complex for no reason, and it could have costed way more money for like 50 people to be on that mission. So it would be cheaper and better to just have a smaller team.
You fucking do. Could you not scan for the Mosasaurus? It can't hide. The motherfucker is enormous, and the pen is actually limited. It's okay. We got to see a guy get eaten. It was so cool. Let's move on.
Again, they thought the Mosasaurus was dead. And this contradicts was what you were saying. The island was dead and everything was dead. So by your own logic, they would not need to scan the island or tank if they thought everything was dead to you, according to your own information.
We then get an expositional news report that basically says there's a volcano active on the island. It was there the whole time, and now it's about to erupt. So everyone's arguing over whether or not the dinosaurs should be saved. I find it ridiculous that everyone on Earth has apparently left this island alone aside from activists up to this point, but apparently that is the case. These things are worth millions. They are one of a kind. They are unguarded. They are perfect for the black market. Nobody apparently gives a shit, and only activists are interested in them. Okay.
What? No! We see people go to the island in the start of the film, like Mauler. How did you forget that? And the film is not about people going to the island and what they're doing with the dinosaurs there. And if they did bring that up, it would be Chekhov's gun. And it wouldn't make any sense to bring it up at all. And the US government gets involved in the film. If the fucking US government needs a public decision, then you know it's a big deal. Even if the law is thinking about what's going to happen to the dinosaurs, the best way for that to happen, with Malcolm being a part of that. And in the film, we see the black market getting involved in buying dinosaurs later in the film. Because they can make money. They just need a party to get the dinosaurs off the island. Then they could use the dinosaurs in their own ways for other types of monopolies.
Then get to catch up with Dr. Ian Malcolm, and you should remember him because he starred in the other Jurassic films.
No.
Not to mention that they made sure to remind you that he was absolutely going to be in this film. He is back.
There are incredible new dinosaurs, an exploding volcano, and Dr. Ian Malcolm's back.
Taiwan, this is Dr. Malcolm.
Jeff Goldblum, not gonna lie, that's pretty awesome.
There are terrifying new dinosaurs, an exploding island, and Jeff Goldblum's back.
Hello, everybody. I'm Jeff Goldblum. And gee, I'm so thrilled to be back as Dr. Ian Malcolm.
So I can't wait to see his involvement with the story. Let's check out his first scene, shall we? Malcolm argues that we shouldn't save the dinosaurs as they are incredibly dangerous. Thus, people begin to call him a murderer in the crowd. This is priceless considering the history of this continuity and what happens when they end up trying to get these things over to civilized society, but fuck it, they don't remember apparently. Which means he's a murderer. And that's the end of the scene. Looking forward to him popping back, really.
They never show anyone calling Ian a murderer. And so, what if they did call Ian a murderer? What would change, and how would that make the film bad? How would it? It would make perfect sense. People in real life can get really defensive over their ideals, and there are people willing to die over their beliefs. And regardless of if the dinosaurs are monsters is true or not, people will still be willing to believe anything. And I'll touch the monsters being monsters. Well, the dinosaurs being monsters in a minute, but just hold on to that for later.
Yeah. So then we see, what's her name? Annoying robotic lady who outran a T-Rex in heels. Can I call her heels? I'm calling her heels.
Mauler never explains why Claire is a robotic actor, so I'll ignore this criticism since he never brings up any actual arguments to prove his point, so this is a non-point.
Heels, since we last saw her, has set up some kind of organization where she tries to rescue the dinosaurs, or at least push the idea that they should be rescued. Her opening dialogue is about how she is trying to get funding, which raises the question of how do they generate money to even have what they have now? How can they make a difference when they aren't visiting or supporting the island whatsoever? Why are so many people working for them with nothing to do and no way to be paid? There's like 20 of these fuckers. Why? What do you even do? Ring senators and maintain a fucking website for 3 years?
It's clear they want to bring the dinosaurs off Nublar, but the issue is that they don't have the funds to do so. So right now they're trying to spread awareness about the dinosaurs so they can give their organizations funds to go actually and save the dinosaurs, which is why Claire in the film jumped on the opportunity to save them with the help of Mills, who did work with Lockwood and was his assistant. So it made perfect sense, which is why she was talking about in the beginning of the film.
Why are you putting this much effort into saving dinosaurs anyway? Those things are dangerous if you didn't catch the memo.
That does not mean the dinosaurs should die. Like, they're still animals. Well, that's like saying hippos, for example, are the most dangerous animal on the planet, with it having the highest kill count and being really, really hard to survive against an attack from an actual hippo. Any animal can be dangerous and give people's injuries, and like just because like a hippo like kills like nearly 500 people a year, does that mean you have the right to take all of their lives? And which is the same as the dinosaurs, because they still have rights to live. The dinosaurs being dangerous does not change anything about their rights. That's the main theme of Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, but since you're too ignorant to think about it, you just complain about it without actually realizing the point of what it's trying to say. It's just because these animals are not natural, does that mean they deserve to die? While you could make an argument that they're invasive and that they should deserve to die, this isn't like a normal invasive species, because like you have to understand that this was human greed and we were partially responsible for the creation of them, and so we still have responsibility over them with the humans in the movie. That just doesn't work, even if they're invasive. And the issue is, people treat this as if this is a black and white topic, when it's a far more nuanced answer and discussion. Here's a forum on Reddit where some people were genuinely agreeing that the dinosaurs should survive, while some were saying they should die, which, well, they're wrong, but that's not really the point. And while not everyone's going to agree with Claire, there are people who do agree with Claire. And, like, here's an example. Let's say you have a duck and her ducklings in an invasive, like, let's say they're from Africa and they're dumped in the USA. Let's say this. Does that mean you could go and brutally murder all of the ducks while still keeping them alive for your own profit? Because, like, oh, they're invasive, but, like, does that mean they need to have such a brutal death? Like, that's such a more nuanced question, because, like, obviously, no, the duck still deserves a death that's warranted. But my point is that this is just such a far more nuanced topic, and treating it as if there is no nuance to it at all is just ignorant and misses the whole point of the film. And it just makes you come across as an arrogant asshole.
The motivation for this entire organization, as stated by the film, is Heels explaining that we shouldn't allow a world where our children could grow up without dinosaurs, which Kids can look at the damn pictures in a book like I did, for fuck's sake. Children get amazed by car keys. We don't need dinosaurs just for them. Make a better argument. Let's not risk several lives here for no reason.
Mauler, I don't think that's what she meant. I think she meant it in a different way. I'm pretty sure she meant it in like, oh, we brought these newer dinosaurs for younger kids to see, for the world to see, but since the animals are going to die, the new generation will not see these dinosaurs. Since people worked so hard to bring these animals to light, and now we're going to kill these, well, let these great animals die? That should get people to understand, or at least how I thought it was meant to be looked at. Also, this is not the only reason she wanted to save the dinosaurs. This was just one of her reasons. That doesn't mean her entire, like, idea of saving the dinosaurs lingers on this one line. Like, no, that's completely ridiculous.
Damn it. You know what? Why are all the dinosaurs inexplicably isolated on this island anyway? How haven't the pterodactyls escaped like the ones from the third film and the fourth film? I find it unbelievable that the island has been untouched for 3 fucking years.
Because the pterosaurs might be fine with the island. Since there's a ton of fish, it's basically one big ocean. They can just go and fish for some fish and eat it and be satisfied, and then just cycle and repeat. Just keep doing that. And since they don't have much predators, since we don't know anything bigger than them, or if there are any Quetzalcoatluses on there to even worry about. And the only flying reptiles that we do know for a fact that were on Nublar was the Dimorphodon, which was in the aviary with the pterosaurs at the beginning of Jurassic World. So they're probably fine with each other, or at least tolerate each other. And plus, you have to keep in mind that, like, these pterosaurs look wildly different. They might not be good at flying from island to the mainland. Plus, for what we know, we don't know how well the pterosaurs from GP3 gone. They could have, like, needed to crash at a few islands. They could, or kept going. Like, we really don't know. And it's just not, and they might not be good for long distance traveling at all, which might lead to them getting tired. Or maybe these pterosaurs don't have a good sense of direction since they were in a cage for most of Jurassic World, so there's another angle to consider that might be a reason. And some birds can't go far in real life. So, and since you have to keep in mind, Henry Wu also changed up the DNA of the pterosaurs. For what we know, he could have, these ones might be not good at short distances, or might not be good at long distances, just so they didn't escape. Just keep that in mind, since it's not out of the realm of possibilities.
When we have so many factions that would kill to get their hands on them, and they have shown that people can get here outside of the law easily to get involved with dinosaurs. And I feel like a fucking alien in this world because there is such a thing as Site B. Remember Isla Sorna? It was the island of choice in The Lost World and Jurassic Park 3, an island with a shit ton of dinosaurs all roaming free. Does anyone want to talk about that one? Are people going to poach from that one? Are there rights to discuss about the dinosaurs on that island? Everyone in this film keeps saying that if Isla Nublar is destroyed, then the dinosaurs go extinct, but that simply isn't true.
Site B is not relevant to the plot. There is no point in bringing it up. And as you said, the news reporter says at the start of the film, and rather the public does not know that any dinosaurs are on Site B, where maybe the government has covered it up with Site B going extinct as a possible reason. Or Site B did fall into extinction. And I think Site B did fall into extinction with it, or well, at least it no longer has any more dinosaurs. Since after Masrani Global bought the dinosaurs and bought all of InGen, they essentially owed the two islands. So like since like Jurassic World was opening, they would likely want to grab some dinosaurs from the island and then like put them there in other enclosures for like park or to breed new ones, since they would save a lot of money if they did so. So like they really could have just done that for what we really know. That's likely the most reasonable one, since it would just be easy cast to save.
You have strong references to the classic film. You have Dr. Ian fucking Malcolm. Enjoy the benefits you get by referencing these fan-favorite elements. But if you're gonna do that, you can't ignore your own continuity, you silly bastards. But yeah, world building isn't a thing films like to do these days. They don't even try, so fuck it. I mean, in fairness, people believe that you shouldn't consider the second and third films to be canon, and that there is promotional material to explain that they moved all the dinosaurs from Site B to A. This just adds way more universal questions to the movies, but I'm cutting that shit at the roots. It should absolutely have been mentioned in the films.
I have never heard anyone in the Jurassic World community ever bring up that The Lost World and GP3 are not canon. Like, even the most stupid Jurassic World haters wouldn't bring that up. Like, I don't think even they would bring that up, because that's just too damn ridiculous, man. Like, what the hell?
So it ain't good writing, folks. Heels is then called by Benjamin Lockwood, John Hammond's ex-partner that helped clone dinosaurs. He was apparently some kind of right-hand man to Hammond, and they broke up before the events of Jurassic Park. Oh, you don't remember him from the other films? Well, it's because he doesn't fucking exist. He's a discount John Hammond to make this seem like it actually fits in with the story of the first film. It doesn't.
This is not true in the slightest. Lockwood was in the novel where he was brought up, and no, he is not originally made for Fallen Kingdom because he was based off of a different character from the novel. So, like, that's not even true. And this is not a retcon. Even if Lockwood was a completely new character to the franchise, which it isn't, that still wouldn't be a retcon, because Lockwood existing does not contradict anything in the old films. Like, do we really need to bring him up? Because, like, I don't get it. It's just new information. That's literally all it is. And why do they need to bring up Lockwood in the first film? What would that have changed? By this logic, did they need to bring up Yoda in A New Hope? Because then, by this logic, Yoda would have been a retcon. And it doesn't make any sense that Obi-Wan didn't bring up Yoda. Like, seriously. So, it would not change anything, because then you wouldn't be able to introduce a new character with it having to be set up in a previous movie. That's just completely ridiculous. And even if the sequel's bad, that's just stupid. Or even regardless of a character, like, this is stupid.
They even bait our sense of nostalgia with a painting of Hammond himself. It's not going to work, film. You actually need to be good first. Also, there is a little girl in the mansion. She will matter at some point, remember her. Anyway, Discount Hammond says that Heels should go and save all the dinosaurs from Isla Nublar. She can bring them to a new piece of land they have created, and they can be protected and live and whatever. His main statement is, these creatures don't need our protection, they need our absence. Spoken unironically as he explains the plan to abduct them, monitor them, and deliver them to this piece of of land that is surrounded by barriers, since they will die without human intervention and protection. Dumbass. And let's not forget, by the way, that the quote he is referencing from Hammond in this scene is from The Lost World.
These creatures require our absence to survive, not our help.
How's that for erasing the second and third films from continuity? Yeah, I didn't think so. Apparently they need Heels and her crew because this whole thing is illegal and her access will get them to the scanner that shows where all the dinosaurs are. It then turns out that there's some young dude who works for Discount Hammond. He is the one who will organize everything for him these days, and if you saw the trailer, we already know he's evil. So, bad guy then says that she needs to bring in Star-Lord since he's the only one that can capture Blue, and Blue is the super important dino that they absolutely must capture. Apparently. So she agrees to the expedition and goes to convince Star-Lord to come. The main argument she uses on him is how much he cares about Blue, commenting on how Blue is practically his kid. Obviously the fact that he's been building a cabin for 3 years means he is totally desperate to get back to his surrogate child. He hasn't completely forgotten about the love he shares for the overgrown feral chicken that betrayed him twice.
Nope, this is not true at all. Blue and the Raptors never portrayed Owen at any point in Jurassic World. Let's go over what happened. The guy falling into the pen? Nope. The Raptors were annoyed that some guy was in their territory that they've never seen before. And that's why they assumed it. And this is where Owen's conflict comes in the first movie. Owen's flaw in the first movie is that he does not trust any of the Raptors at all. Despite the fact despite the Raptors attacking, they still stayed loyal and followed him into the attack with the Indominus Rex. And that was not a stab in the back, but more like a relationship on ice. Then maybe the reason why they did it was because, like, oh my god. And the reason why the Raptors attacked the mercenaries was because they were firing on the Raptors and they defended themselves in self-defense. And while the mercenaries didn't do anything wrong and Hoskins is to blame for this, they still didn't really do anything wrong. They just naturally defended themselves. But Hoskins did not listen, which led to the death of the team. And you can tell that they're still listening to Owen. And then he realized that they never portrayed him. And that the issue was that he never trusted them at all, which was the issue all along.
And thankfully, Star-Lord pretty much says he's not interested, and neither should she be, but Heels tells him he's a good man. So all we can draw from this is that apparently Star-Lord and Heels broke up after they got together from the last film, which was after they broke up and after they got together originally, leading them to get together in this film, but what the fuck ever. The writers think it's cute to keep tearing them apart and slamming them back together, so we're gonna have to watch another film.
Except we don't know why they broke up before the events of Jurassic World. And they broke up because Claire wanted the best for what happened to Jurassic World and wanted to fix the mistakes she made on it, while Owen didn't think any issue could fix it. So essentially, Claire was acting more as an idealist, while Owen was more of a nihilist. And so they broke up due to different reasons on how to deal with the dinosaurs.
Of that, I guess. So that night, Star-Lord checks out some old recordings of him and Blue bonding when she was a puppy dinosaur, and it's adorable. The point is that he's coming too, because why the fuck?
Yeah, because he had a change of heart after the Nublar incident, and really it's just as simple as that. He had a change of heart and actually wanted to do something instead of having a nihilistic view on what happened on Nublar.
Not. We then get two new characters along with the ones we already have. Tech Guy, who is good with tech, and Biology Girl, who is good with biology on dinosaurs despite never having seen a dinosaur in real life. The film points this out as if it totally makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, it's an animal. And she's a medic. With dinosaurs, they just have to treat. And the dinosaurs are okay. And we see in the Lost World where Ian and the gang manages to heal a baby T-Rex's leg. So it's not rocket science. It really should not be that hard.
They eventually arrive at Isla Nublar, and we find that there is already a huge set of foot soldiers here. Teams of people preparing for the dino capturing. Basically the Lost World again, and I'm gonna...
Again, you never explain this at all. Like, how is the Lost World... How is Fallen Kingdom the same plot as the Lost World? Like, I really don't know what to say here, so I'm just gonna skip it.
Pause here. I'm not mad, okay? I'm not mad. Let's just think about this a little bit more. The island is filled with dinosaurs. There's no protection on it, since people can just roll up illegally without being stopped. And these guys are the only faction that tried to take a dinosaur? You're telling me that people are going to end up shelling out millions by the end of this film to buy these things? Upwards of 30 million for a single dinosaur, and none of them care about getting as many as they want of any species for free in the last 3 years. This is public knowledge. It was a massive worldwide park. Its shutdown would have been a major story throughout the world. Could you imagine how many poachers or pirates would try for this shit? There could be a full-on industry. Hell, that is the point the film is making at the end, that you could set yourself up for life by selling just one of them. It should be easy, since some of them escaped already, remember? Fuck it, turn your brain off.
Holy shit. Can you stop repeating your points? This is like the third time you've said this argument. We get it. Like, can you just stop with this dumb argument that's not even true?
Heroes is joined by Buffalo Bill, who will play the evil hunter for this film. First thing they do is rip off Jurassic Park, because, I mean, what else can happen in these films outside of the scene where they all look surprised by the Brachiosaurus walking past? We gotta get that one in, don't we, folks?
You can't rip off your own franchise. Like, that isn't even possible. Like, do I need to explain how stupid this is? That's like saying in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, whenever the characters bring up a past part, it's ripping off each other, or when they hit a similar pose to another pose from another part. Like, no, that's really stupid. And yeah, it's clearly a reference to the first film because this is the anniversary to the franchise. So wouldn't it make sense to bring that up? But you know why that doesn't matter? Or why this response video would not even change Mauler at all? Because Mauler does not give a fucking shit about Jurassic Park. No, he doesn't give a shit about anything he reviews. He doesn't understand jack shit anything about it. I genuinely cannot name a single one of his reviews where it seems like he's being honest to the viewers, where the only one I can name is the frickin' Last Jedi. Like, seriously. This guy, like, he always tries to make himself win without making himself look like an idiot. But he doesn't care because all he wants to do is win without actually having morals and foundations to stand on, because Mauler does not give a shit about what he reviews.
Next, Buffalo Bill takes them to a base to activate a tracking system that has to be activated by Heels and no one else, and it lights up all the dinosaurs on the island. Heels and Tech Guy stay in the station, and the rest go to capture Blue while the troops all capture dinosaurs across the island. They eventually reach Blue, and Star-Lord calms her down, but one of the troops fires a trank a little too early. I don't know why. The troops are evil, so that's probably enough for him to do it.
Because if Owen and Claire found out what Mills was doing, then they would try to stop them. Because, like, it wouldn't make any sense for Mills, like, let's say, like, he actually keeps Owen and Claire alive, but then randomly kicks them out. It would be suspicious, and plus, Claire and Owen would likely want to see what they're doing with the dinosaurs to see if it's A-okay. Because they want to make sure they're okay. So the best option was to portray them on the island, because if they knocked them out and left them behind, they the island would have exploded, and the evidence that they were killed by Mills and his gang wouldn't exist because the island would already be destroyed. And if they did get into it, they could just say that they got separated and they didn't make it on the boat. So it's basically a perfect scenario for them to take out Owen and Claire once they're done with their use. And it's clear that their plan was just to use them to find Blue and activate the trackers, then ditch them. That was clearly the plan.
Blue kind of flips out because of this and tries to eat one of the troops, so they shoot her with a single pistol shot and she's down. Now try and follow me on this, because the film starts to lose its shit. As a result of what just happened, Star-Lord charges Buffalo Bill, and Bill shoots him with a sedative, which then leads to Biology Person pulling a gun on Bill, and she says if they shoot her, she can't save Blue, and so they make a deal to let her live in exchange for saving the raptor's life. So they all leave to evacuate the island with Blue and the dinosaurs, leaving Star-Lord behind, knocked out on the ground. And I'm sorry, I cannot resist. What the fuck? The good guys are blown away by the fact that the troopers just shot a fucking dinosaur when she was in the process of killing a man. Since when do we value the lives of dinosaurs over the people in this expedition? Why is it unreasonable to shoot a dinosaur that's eating your face? The good guys are again blown away by Buffalo Bill then shooting Star-Lord with a tranq when it's absolutely reasonable. I probably would have done the same thing if I was holding a tranquilizer rifle and a muscle-built angry man was charging at me, but no, this makes him reprehensible now. Thirdly, we have the biology asshole pulling a gun on Bill because what? He defended himself? She's taking a strong forward step to defend someone she doesn't even know here. Like, why does she care so much about Star-Lord? Better yet, why doesn't she care about him at all seconds later?
Wow! Look at that huge fucking hypocrite!
Think about this, for fuck's sake. Biology asshole decides to threaten Bill's life for the sole reason that her friend was shot with a tranq. Buffalo Bill looks pretty confused, and then he says, well, you're outgunned. I'm not kidding, the biology person just picks up the gun and demands not to be killed when they didn't even have guns on her in the first place. Is there dialogue missing here? I know the troops are evil, the trailer makes it very clear.
It was all a lie!
But you could have had a better reason for the turn than this nonsense. On top of it, we have Biology Girl just agreeing to leave Star-Lord behind. Why not demand that he's taken with you? Otherwise you won't save the raptor. Why are you leaving him to die? Do you not care? Oh, is this...
What? No! We should not be defending Ken's actions. Like, why? I can't believe I have to defend Ken's actions of all people. 1. Ken did attack Blue because he didn't wait on Owen's command. When Owen was working, like, his plan was actually working. Owen was doing a good job, but 2, while it was not Ken and he did not plan on shooting Blue, because she's the last of her kind, she was way more important than anything else and needed to be secured first with the other dinosaurs. So disobeying Owen's command wasn't a good idea, and it was clearly meant so they could just get Owen, just to cut Owen off and deal with, and so they don't have to worry about him later. Shooting someone with a tranquilizer meant for dinosaurs could kill somebody. So he was killing Owen, and the reason how he survived that was she took out the trank before it could be dangerous for Owen with that amount of tranquilizer in his body that isn't even meant for a human. 4, how would you react if someone shot your pet of yours, got shot by somebody, and tell me you would not punch that guy in the face? Like, this is dumb. Like, why are you defending Ken's actions? Like, and the reason why she didn't bring Owen was because she thought he was dead due to the trank again.
So we can have that funny scene where he moves his arms one by one to escape the lava. It's annoying to think that this entire scenario was created because one of the troopers fired too early with his trank gun. Other than that, everything is to plan from the perspective of the good guys.
Again, the issue was that they did not listen to Owen and went over to Blue anyway without listening to his command.
Like I said, the film treats it like one faction betrays the other here, which they actually do a little bit later, but they haven't done it yet. All I can see here is the troops protecting themselves and their own men. Why was the trooper too early anyway? What exactly was Star-Lord going to do in this scenario that would have made tranquilizing Blue more reasonable in a minute from now? And should I even bother?
Because it could lead to Blue freaking out and attacking everyone, and since she knew Owen was there, she could ambush them, killing some of the soldiers due to the fact that she knew Owen was coming, so it made sense to leave them behind, and since she doesn't really know the soldiers, she might freak out more by these random soldiers showing up, and she does attack them when they eventually shoot at her.
Mentioning that putting a man down with a trank meant for a dinosaur should probably have some repercussions. Like, I don't know, I imagine it would kill him. Instead, he just wakes up about 10 minutes later. Anyway, the troops then head into the beach to try and evacuate the animals, but because betrayal is now in effect, they lock Heels and Tech Guy into the station that monitors the dinosaurs in an attempt to kill them, meaning that they definitively want to kill the 4 good guys now. So why didn't they execute Star-Lord? God damn it, stop punishing me for thinking. So Bill calls Bad Guy, and they talk about how innumerably important Blue is, and he will get a bonus for it. This is important for later. Meanwhile, Tech Guy and Heels begin to see lava pouring into the station, and I guess that's how the bad guys expected them to die there? That's just silly. But the Tech Guy almost easily hacks a door open, which the bad guys should have known about because he did it right in front of them earlier, and he even insulted them for assuming he couldn't do it. So why was this the plan, to kill them instead of shooting them? That's really fucking silly.
They were getting the trackers of the dinosaurs to reveal their locations, so they would have needed to turn the power back on and send it back to this team so they could track down the dinosaurs. Also, when the baryonyx showed up, they went to the ladder, but it was stuck. Then it got unstuck. It's not like they didn't try or anything. Like, that's just ridiculous. Which was their problem, because that was their only way of escape, and so they needed to get the ladder unstuck before the baryonyx got through, and it was only being blocked off due to the lava.
Tech Guy then hacks the terminal and opens up this random, ridiculously long tube that leads outside. Instead of them using the ladder to go up immediately or opening the front door, they open a giant tube. That's just so fucking silly. Why the big tube, for fuck's sake? Unluckily for them, the moment they open this giant tube, a random dinosaur just happens to walk in the other end. He's big enough to be a massive threat, but small enough, of course, to fit in the tube and the room. Why not? It's not like that would be fucking silly.
The Baryonyx is a real creature. This creature existed in real life. And if it could fit in the tunnel network, then it can. It just can. That's something it can do due to its size. That's like saying it does not make any sense. Most of the main cast in Code Geass are teenagers, so Callan and Lelouch can meet each other outside of terrorism. It does not make any sense that somehow Pokemon can get into these balls. Like, how do they get into the balls? They're really big. It does not make any sense in Jurassic Park that the raptors can get into buildings, which is dumb. Like, how does that work? How do the raptors get into the buildings? That's so convenient, you know? That's such a ridiculous convenience. Like, oh, I hate that so much. But honestly, I thought the first Jurassic Park was perfect. And made sense, right, Mauler? Or what about the T-Rex coming in and killing the raptors? It's literally bigger than most of the buildings, so tell me how it got in there. Explain that. Just see how dumb this is?
So the creature gets in, but the lava falling in through the ceiling protects our heroes as they climb up the ladder to safety, and my God, fuck off, you stupid seed. The volcano is now erupting violently, and once they get atop the facility, Heels and Techman bump right into Star-Lord as he's running from the lava. Well, gee, isn't that lucky? Wonder if he'll end up saving them.
So, I want to explain a coincidence and a convenience. A coincidence is you walking from work to the train station, but just as you get there, the train gets there as well, being perfect timing. That's just a coincidence, naturally. But a convenience is, let's say, that, but the train is waiting for you and only you specifically. Which would not make any sense, since why would the train be waiting for you? And it would make the world feel smaller, as if they're all inside one giant house and where the saying takes place. And the rest you brought up are just coincidences and nothing else. If you want an example of something like that, then the first movie where the T-Rex shows up and kills the raptors is a prime example of a convention. But if, of course, the T-Rex shows up and fixes all the problems with it being there just on time, but let's say the T-Rex is near the visitor center, then that wouldn't be an issue where the characters use the T-Rex to try to lure it to kill the raptors, which creates a distraction for them to run away from the raptors and the T-Rex.
Run together until they bump right into one of the old gyrosphere things. Gee, that's just such gosh darn luck. But they can't get into it right away, so they decide to hide behind a log, and I shit you not, the dinosaurs begin to slowly chop away at it, piece by piece from either side, reducing it down to a nub, instead of just going through the center straight away. It's so laughably done, I'm just reminded of Kill Bill.
Why would the animals risk injuring themselves? It might slow them down with maybe there are more logs and they're trying to escape a volcano, so it really wouldn't make much sense for them to hit a log. Like, wouldn't that just slow it down?
Your mother!
So there's a few dinosaur fights, explosions, and screaming that leads to our group falling into the ocean right before the volcano catches up. And yeah, Star-Lord gets engulfed by volcanic smoke. I don't science, so if you should be dead here, then, I mean, cool, but, I don't know. It looks cool. That's obviously what they were going for.
Yes, a pyroclastic flow can kill somebody, but pyroclastic flows sometimes will not kill people, because sometimes they could be below the heats to actually kill people. Just this one isn't that hot, so the dinosaurs and Owen could likely survive a pyroclastic flow since it's not that hot at the moment.
And then we get the scene where the submerged ball is sinking slowly and filling with water. It's mostly a single shot panning around with loads of interaction from the creatures, the eruption, and Star-Lord swimming around as he looks for a way to get them out. Yeah, it was pretty awesome. Goddamn, my cold dead heart just had to beat there, didn't it? So they make it to shore, and Star-Lord explains that it was a double cross. He doesn't go into any detail about it because there is nothing that they were doing that wasn't a part of the plan, so I'm just confused for our characters. Heels even shouts that it was all a lie, which isn't something she can say yet because, like I said, everything is going to plan. The rescue of these dinosaurs is still in effect. What's the lie exactly, you twat? I understand that they tried to kill you here, but I feel like this dialogue is only present because the movie wants us to just go along with the bad guys being bad guys from the audience and character perspective when we haven't even heard from the auction yet. We don't know anything about it. And by the way, we're almost halfway through the film. This is practically an admission that if not for the one trigger-happy guy earlier, everything would be running as if there were no bad guys. Please get your plot together, film. What the fuck are you doing? We then see Buffalo Bill yank a tooth right out of the jaw of a herbivore. This is incredibly important because the third act rests on this point. No, I'm not fucking kidding. This guy's teeth-collecting habit will define the finale for this film, so please remember it. Heels then declares that the only reason they had all of the good guys come was to capture Blue. All of them were for that purpose and nothing else. Anyway, the troops all leave the island on the boat and our heroes are right behind them in what is a wonderfully summer action blockbuster scene. They bump into a vacant truck and use it to drive off the edge of the dock and land on the ship. Incredible. Should I point out how stupid it is that it was left that close to the ship instead of used by the other people? Especially when there was apparently a space for it, and that space ends up being perfect for our heroes. Not to mention that no one seems to care to check who was driving that truck, since all of the troopers are supposed to assume these guys are dead, but whatever, Heels puts a hat on, so it's fucking fine apparently.
Only a small handful of the team was aware of Claire and Owen being with them on the team, so they can just avoid everyone really easily without worrying about anything. And as long as they avoid the people who did know about that, they can really squirm by.
After that, there's this really well shot but utterly cheesy moment where a Brachiosaurus is standing at the dock staring at the ship leave while making complainy sounds. The smoke engulfs it, and I think we're supposed to cry. Most of the people on the ship do, but why is there only one dinosaur on this dock? Where are the hordes? Why does it look at the boat like it'll save him when he can't possibly understand what it even is? And it's just so bizarre that they built the park next to this volcano. I suppose it was dormant at the time, so that makes sense. It's just so sad. Heels cried.
It's because they got most of the remaining dinosaurs, and they were likely the ones they didn't get were killed. Do we seriously need to know what happened to every single dinosaur individually on what happened to them? Like, that's just really stupid. And that's it for part 1. Since this video was already 11 pages long in the scripting process, I just made this as part 1 because this would take probably all of summer to even finish this. But honestly, have a great day. Despite how horrible this video is, and after all the swearing, I'm honestly just burnt out. Like, seriously, just have a good day, guys.